We shall discuss dot format method for the strings. If we want to take a meaningful output from the string, then we need to format that string. What is the syntax of dot format method? I will discuss it thoroughly by using examples. Let's start with the simple example. For example, I have a string which I want to print. Sulfur Soft is an innovative software house with 200,000 employees and founded in 2020. Simple. We have got the required output. Now, what if I want to use sulfursoft as a variable name? I want to use this 20,000 as a variable and I want to use this 2020 as a variable. We will define three variables and will insert those three variables into the string. How can I do that? Here the dot format method comes into the action. I will delete this from here and use curly braces. Similarly, I will delete it from here and use curly braces and so on. Now we have defined three curly braces in place of three words or three strings. We want to insert three variables inside these three curly braces. We will use dot format method. The first variable which will come inside this format bracket will replace this curly braces. Similarly, the second variable which will come in dot format method will replace this curly braces and third will replace this third curly braces. So let's start. First, I want sulfur soft. Second, I want 20,000. Third, I want 2020. Let's see. Here we have got the same output, but this time we have used the dot format method to insert variables inside these curly braces and we have got the meaningful output. We can also use digits. We will further explain shortly digits, float, and some other advanced techniques of dot format method. Here we have got the required output similar as previous, but this time I have used integer value in place of the string. Now I can define three separate variables like this. Name is equal to sulfur soft, employees is equal to 200,000 and founded 2020. And here I will replace all these with the variable names. Like this, first variable is the name, second variable is the employees, and the third variable is the founded. Now let's see what will happen. Here you can see that we have got the same output, but this time I have utilized the variable name. So it is another variant of the dot format method. Now I can change the location. For example, now here name is at 0th location, employee is at one location, and founded at second location. We can also do like this. I can mention 0 here, I can mention 1 here, and I can mention 2 here. It means the 0th location variable will fill this place. Similarly, the variable at the first index will fill this and the third index will fill this. We can also change the order. For example, I am going to place it like this 0 and here I am using 2 or 2. Let's suppose. Look at it. We have got the output, but this time employee is coming first because we have used the first index. It is very much useful when we will going to repeat the same variable throughout the string. For example, I am living in this, and this is very lovely country. So here I am using USA, and here I am using 0, and again I am using the 0. I am living in USA, and USA is very lovely country, like this, for example. Similarly, I can use like this, USA, and here I am using name only. We have got the same output. Now, what we can do, another variant I am going to discuss, removing it, and here I can use name is equal to sulfur soft employees is equal to 20,000. Yes. And now I am changing the string. Sulfur soft is an innovative software house with dash employees. Now, here it is giving me error because I have not defined or entered the variable name into the curly braces. Whatever variable you will define like this into the dot format method, you will need to define it like this, name and employees, like this. Now we have got the meaningful output, and we can use the dot format method like this. We can define the variable name here, and in curly braces we can write the name of that variable, and we can get the required output. For example, I'm going to use like this, employees. 20,000 is an innovative software house with 20,000 employees, like this. So it is an other variant of the dot format method. Another feature the dot format method provides us is related to list, dictionary, or tuple. Let's start to have some example related to list, dictionary, and tuple. For example, I have a list like this, and we have variable 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to access this list by using the dot format method. Then what I will do, I will use the same print statement, and I will write list is, for example, if I want to show all the list element, then what I will do, I will use dot format and L. Here is the list. It will come here inside the argument of the dot format method, and automatically this list will take the place in these curly braces, like this. List is 1, 2, 3, 4. This list has taken place in these curly braces. Now, I want to access the element of this list. Then how can I access? This list is at 0th index. So I will use 0, and at 0 index, which element I want to access? I want to access 0, for example. 1. Here we have got the element of the list by accessing its index. Now I want to access the third element. Then what will happen? For example, Here I have got the fourth one as well. I'm going to have a comma in between that so that it can be segregated 1 and 4. Now I can access the second list as well. I'm going to define L1 here, and the components are 5, 6, 7, 8. And here I am going to use the argument L1. Here we have got the same output, and I have run the output just to see that whether the second argument give me any error or not. Now, how can I access the element of second argument? The index of second argument is 1. So what I will do like this. 1 at 0. I have got the output like this. The second element, 0th index element is 5, and we have printed that 5 by using this syntax. Now I am going to write 1 of 2. For example, we have got the required output as we were discussing. Now I want to access the entire list. Then what can I do? I'll use this like this. I have got 1, I have got 4, and I have got the entire list. Now I'm going to use all the list available in the dot format method. Here we have got the two lists segregated by the comma. Now we are going to have example of tuple. Here we have T, and tuple syntax is like this. We will discuss this in upcoming video, but here just for the sake of understanding of dot format method, I am going to utilize these data types as well. For example, and here I am just writing tuple is, sorry, I have not changed the variable here, T and T1. Here we have got the list of tuple. Now I want to access the first element of tuple 0 and here I want to access the first element of the second tuple. Yes, we have got the required output. The first element is 1 of first tuple and the second element is 5 of the first tuple. Now I want to access more elements 0 at 3 and 0 1 at 3, for example. Here we have got the required. Now we will discuss the example of dictionary. For example, I am taking the dictionary T is equal to, here's a key and here's its value, and here there is another key and it's an having value 2. How to access it? Let's start. Dict is, first I will print the whole dictionary D. We have got the required output of dictionary. Now I will print the individual element of this dictionary. How can I do that? It is at the 0th location. I'll use like this 0. I will use the key name, key. And here, if I want to access the second element, then I will use the key name of that second element like this 0 and other underscore key. The name which I have defined in this dictionary. I can change the name first like this. Here we have got the required output. For example, I am changing the name to soft and I am changing the name to sulfur. Here, what is the output of sulfur and what is the output of soft? this is just for understanding purpose. Now I'm going to change again the name. I'm going to define an other dictionary so that I could access that dictionary as well. And the name of that dictionary is 1, and I'm going to change the value with the 5, and I'm going to change the value with the 6. Here I'm going to define as D1, and here I'm going to define the entire dictionary. Here we have got the required output 1, 2 and the dictionary which I have defined just yet because the dictionary D1 at the first index and the first index giving me the full output. Now I want to gain the output of individual key. What I will like key like this. I have got the So I have got the element with the name key in the second dictionary, and similarly I want to access the second key by using its name in the second dictionary and other underscore key. And what will be the output? Here we have got the output like this, and now I'm going to access the dictionaries, both dictionary. How can I do that at 0th location and at the 1th location? Here I have got the both dictionary. Now we shall discuss formatting of numbers through dot format method. Decimal number, float number, hexadecimal number, octal number, binary number. How we can format all these numbers using the dot format method, let's discuss. I shall explain that how we can define integer, decimal, hexadecimal, octal or float point number by using the dot format method. Integer or decimal number, I can say, is defined as D. Whereas if I want to utilize float number, then it will be defined as F. If I want to use hexadecimal, octal and binary, then how can I define that? The binary number is defined as B. Similarly, octal number is defined as O. O. Hexadecimal number is defined as small x or capital X. Now one by one we will see example of each number. Let's start. For example, I am going to print integer number is, what is integer number? Dot format, and the number is 786. What it will be giving me output? Yes, it is giving me output 786. 786 has filled this place. So by default, if I will give the number here, then it will be considered as integer. If I will give number like this 1, 2, 3, then it will be considered as float. So there is no default value in these curly braces. Whatever value you will give, it will be returned here. To compulsory use digit or integer value inside these curly braces, you have to define a colon and then T. This is the syntax. We will restrict these curly braces that only digit can enter or integer value can enter inside you. Apart from integer value, if I will enter float value, then there will be an error. But I have this float value. What happens now? It will give me an error because I have used the float value and the brackets are demanding integer value. So I will convert it into the integer. Yes, I'm going to get the required output. What if I use like this 5? What will happen? Here we have seen that we have got two spaces here. already one space which we have created. Like, I'm going to remove this space so that better understanding could be enabled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Two spaces are here and three digits are here. 5 means the width of the digit which you will enter should be 5. If I enter 3, the width of the digit is 3, then automatically two spaces will be created in front or as a prefix of that digit. I'm going to take an example 05D for example. Those two spaces which were created earlier will be filled with the value 0. Hence, 5D mean you need to specify at least minimum 5 width integer. If you don't specify an integer having the width 5, then automatically spaces will be created, and if you will use 05D, then automatically the spaces which were created earlier will be filled with the 0. For example, I am using 78666666, and what will happen then? No 0 has occurred or no 0 has come earlier than the digit because it is the minimum width criteria, not maximum width criteria. So minimum width should be 5. If the width of integer is more than this, then there is no problem. Now I am going to use 786 with 08D. Then what will happen? Here I have got 5 zeros before 786. Now we shall discuss the float data type or float point number. How to format the float point number through the dot format method. Let's discuss. Print, for example, float number is dot format 786.123456, for example. I'm going to run the output and I have got the required output. But I want to restrict these curly braces that they should only accept the float point number. If I will give the digit or integral or whole number here, then it will also convert that integer value into the float point value. For this purpose, I will use column F. Now these curly braces are restricted to use only float point number. I have got the same output as previous. But if I will use 786 like this, then what will happen? We will use F word inside the curly braces, then it means they are demanding float point number. If I will give integer value, then they will convert into float point. By default, the float point number which will be converted having 6 digits or 6 precision value after the point, like this. We have got 6 zeros after the point. So the precision, by default precision value is 6 digit. Now I am going to use 786.2. I have got 786.12 and 4 digits because the precision value or precision digits after the point should be 6. Now I am going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, more than the 6 digits I have used. But still I have got the output after the point value is from 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Why 7? Because when we round off this, then this 6 will become 7. That is why we have got the 7 value here, and these are the 6 digits after this point value. So this is the default precision till 6 digit. But I can also use more value than the 6 and lesser value than the 6 digits. How can I do that? I can do that by using point and the number of digits I want after the point. For example, I want only 3 digits. 1, 2, 3. Yes, I want 4 digits. 1, 2, 3, 5. 5 because it has been rounded off. Now, in integer we have used 5D or 05D to make the to accept the digit having minimum width of 5. Here in float, how can we do that? We can do that like this. For example, I want a float value having minimum width. Minimum width. I am not saying complete width. It will show minimum width. Minimum width should be 5, and I think I will use like this. Minimum width should be 5, but it is more than 5, then there is no issue. But if I will precise the value after this, like 5.1, I have got 786, and again it is having 5 as the minimum width because 7 is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hence, point value is also included into the width. For example, I am using here 6 and the width is 5, then what will happen? Here it will create a space before the integral value and it will complete the width of float number as 6. But I want 0 before it, then what will I do? Hence 0 has occurred behind the integer. Now I want 8. 0 has occurred behind the integer. I want this like this, then what will happen? Then no 0 has occurred behind the 786 because it is already fulfilling the minimum width criteria. But if I will use like this 10.4, then what will happen? It is creating some spaces behind it. I want to use it like this. Hence it is creating zeros behind the value. Now we shall discuss how to format the binary, hexadecimal, and octal number using the format method. Let's start. I'm going to print binary number is dot format. For example, I am giving 123. Format method will accept decimal number and we want these curly braces to convert that decimal number into the binary number. For this, I will use colon and I will use B for the binary. Binary number is this of 123. Similarly, I want to convert it into the octal number. Then what I will do, I will use colon O. Octal number is 173. If I want to convert it into hexadecimal, then there are two ways. One way is small x, it will be converted into hexadecimal, and the other way is capital X, it will be converted into hexadecimal. So we can use format method to convert decimal number into octal, hexadecimal or binary. We cannot convert float point number into hexa, octal or binary number. Let's discuss. Here we have got the error. I am going to use small x. Again I have got the error and I am using O. Again I am going to get the error. I am using B. I am going to get the error again. So I cannot convert float point number into binary, hexadecimal or octal number using format method.